What's your name and what do you teach?
My name's Alastair. I teach history, English, and RE, or religion studies, if anybody is doing that.
Okay. Where did you study?
I studied in various places. I studied most recently at the University of Nottingham, just finished there with a master's. But I also studied in South Africa at two of the universities there, at Rhodes University and University of South Africa.
Wow. Okay. My dad knows South Africa quite well. He did his PhD on South Africa. So,
Oh, really? What subject was that in?
industrial relations. So a really boring.
There's a lot to talk about when it comes to South Africa when it's industrial relations. There's a lot, and very interesting too.
What was your favorite childhood book or story?
That's a very good question. I suppose I read all the classics. Winnie the Pooh and I hate to confess to Noddy, and Swallows and Amazons and stuff like that. I grew up on all those typical British children's books of the time, and Beatrix Potter, and I couldn't say I really had a favorite.
Good choices, though.
Sorry?
Good choices, though.
Well, they're all the classics. And I guess that's what, my mother sort of introduced us, obviously, to the books. They were probably her classics as well.
Why do you love English, history, or RE?
Well, they're all very different. I think history because of the way in which it teaches me about society and about people and about how they function and why they function and why they don't in many cases. Basically it's a good study of where we've come from and why we're in such a mess. Oh, sorry, why we're here, and to understand our civilization, to understand our culture, we need to know where we've come from, and it's a long story. So there's plenty to do. English, it's really the literature that I love. I mean, I must say that I get too carried away when I teach literature. I know that. The students have to stop me because I get like a train, because I'm with a poem that I really enjoy or with a novel that I really like, and then I'm quite passionate about it. I must say, I get very involved. RE, I've come to fairly late. I've taught it on and off, but then I decided that I was asked to put together a course when I was lecturing at a university in South Africa. They didn't offer it, and they decided they needed to offer it. And we had a theology department, but they all went, "Oh no, we don't want to do that." So they asked me to put together a team, and I ended up, you know how it is. You put together the team. The team was great. Put together a course. The course was great. It was basically we stole the one from the UK, A-level course, because there we finished school a year earlier, and then so our first year university would be the equivalent of A-level. So I basically stole that. It's good. It's a good generic course, and we fixed it up a little bit to suit our own needs. And then, of course, it came to the question if who was going to teach it. And then it turned out there wasn't anybody else except me. So I had to do it. And I've done it for several years, and really enjoyed it. And I really got into it. So now that's another thing I want to find out more. So that's why I went to Nottingham to do that.
Okay. Who inspires you the most?
Who?
Mm-hmm.
That's an extremely good question. It would be difficult to know. I mean, I've been fortunate to meet in my career teachers who have inspired me. And these are people who are, day to day, and they wouldn't probably even know that they had that influence. I can remember a number of them, and there are people who, by now, some of them are still teaching, some have retired. But I think probably in that way, they kept me going, particularly when I was younger. And I saw how they did things, how they went about doing things, and why that was a lot better than what I was doing at the time. And I learned so much from them. So in a sense, I don't always look so much up to the sort of, I mean, there are many obviously icons in society that you could say, I really think that one, but we're all flawed human beings. And I suppose for me, the closer they are, the more meaning they have for my life. Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, I've been fortunate to have been in the same generation as people like Nelson Mandela, for example, who is a great inspiration. And and it was a great privilege to have met him, and so I could say someone like that as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you've got two different sides of the same coin. Maybe you've got some great icons that, like Nelson Mandela, who really inspire you.
Yeah, he does. I mean, him and we in South Africa, that was good because there was people like him and Desmond Tutu as well, a very very fine man, who I probably identified more with him because he was around a lot more, obviously because he wasn't in jail, and the way in which he balanced this, which was a justifiable struggle against apartheid, with real deep values, and I really admired that.
In 3 words, describe your teaching style.
All right, eccentric, passionate, and so the third word would probably be democratic.
Okay, excellent choices. Why are your subjects, as a group of subjects, why do you think they're important for us to learn about?
I think they're very important, but of course, these days people don't value them very much anymore. But that's why I think we lose out so much in terms of, I think all of them, absolutely all of them, teach us something about life, about values, about how we live, about what is good, what is worthy, what is life-giving, and what doesn't work, and what should we try and perhaps do differently. And I guess that's the main thing. They've all got that in common. You read it, nobody writes a work of literature without some really serious things to say about life. And normally those are people with great insight, even if they didn't necessarily recognize it at the time. And they can give us so much understanding and knowledge about ourselves, as can history, as can religion studies. So I see them all in very much the same light, I think.
Okay. I would agree. I would have to agree as a history and English student.